Yep, it's Badger time. Ready to dig in? Good. We got some interesting stories today, a lot of good stuff. Number one, Zelensky gets a cracker because that's all he's going to get out of these peace negotiations with Russia, and that's all he deserves. Why? We'll get into it. Judges continue to ignore SCOTUS. Yeah, what was that ruling that they said that district court judges could do nationwide injunctions? Yeah, we're going to see they're not abiding by that. What do we do about these loose cannon judges? I know I've got an idea. And not your sugar mama. Guess what? If I'm paying for your food, you don't get to eat sweetness. I'm sorry. It's my tax dollars. You're stealing from me. You don't get to shove your fat face full of ho-hos. Yeah, I think that's what they're called. Ding-dongs and ho-hos. Good. All right. So Putin has come out and has openly now stated he will end the war provided he gets the Donbass region. And there's a lot to go through this. So hang in there with me. There's some critical things, including going back to the Biden administration regarding loss of life and how this should have ended 6 months into the war. So Putin says he'll end the war with Ukraine with one major concession. That major concession being he wants the Donbass region. Steve Witkoff announced that this was going on. The talks were doing very, very well. Trump even said that there's a conference coming up on August 15th, which is coming up in just a week. They're looking to meet in Alaska. Now, Trump only said he would meet with Putin if Putin agreed to end the war. So no more dragging your feet, no more lollygagging. It's time to hang up the gun and the combat boots and say we're putting an end to it. And it seems like that could be coming to fruition. Now, let me draw you a little something right here. This is the region Russia is negotiating on taking. They are literally looking to negotiate. There's a river right here that goes down. And then, of course, they're wanting to take over Crimea. Crimea is this piece that they essentially took over back under Obama's administration. And now they're looking to take all of this from the war. Let's just say Europe's not a fan of it, but what are they going to do? When some bully has essentially beaten up some kid and has taken his lunch money, and that bully is pretty doggone big, what are you hoping to do, really? Is it good? Is it right? No, it's not. But sometimes you have to cut your losses. And the reason why I say that is because already there's been a ginormous loss of life. In the scheme of war, it is relatively minor. I want to point that out. However, the implications as far as the displacement of people is ginormous. So remember, this was Obama letting Crimea get taken over by Russia. So this is Crimea. This is the Donbass region that Russia is now looking to add to its territory. Right now, from a prior stream, these numbers are currently a month old. But essentially, I've looked at both the high and low reporting on both sides of the fence to try to get the best breakdown. So in other words, not looking at the highest, not looking at the lowest, but looking at multiple sources. And this is an average of those sources. Ukraine has only had a military death loss of about 60,000. Russia, significantly more. Injuries, 400,000 to 600,000. And this is what bothers me. If you're looking at 400,000 to 600,000, I've got a hunch that this number is actually much higher. I don't believe this is realistic. I think this is what we're being lied to about. There have been a significant amount of civilian deaths, of course, on the Ukrainian side, because that's where all the fighting is, and a huge amount of people who have been displaced, 5.6 million who've had to leave. That is absolutely awful. So Zelensky is now crying right now. He's saying he is not going to agree to anything. I'm going to call it right now and say, yes, he is. He is a spoiled, petulant child that was put in place by the CIA. He's going to do what he's told. So he is saying he's not going to secede anything. This is why I say that this is not going to, that this will happen whether he likes it or not. Thus far, the EU have spent about $140 billion on Ukraine. The US, $180 billion thus far. Their GDP is $200 billion. That's a lot of dump. Now, here's the interesting part. Zelensky says he can only find $75 billion. Where did those other billions go? Where's that other $240 billion? Where is it? Did it fleece American politicians' pockets? Did it fleece and oil and grease the machinery of the industrial complex that is known as the deep state? Where is that money? I believe Zelensky that he is saying that he only received $75 billion. I'm sure that's all he was able to pocket. Again, before the left fell in love with Ukraine, it was listed as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. And you expect me to believe that they legitimately had all of this money funnel in and actually go toward the people, go to the war effort? Let's be realistic. A large chunk of it is gone. Zelensky, we have paid for your country's GDP multiple times over. We are not giving you a cent more. You're going to give up a fraction of your country. Why? Because without us, you're nothing. You're a paper tiger that is being propped up by the American industrial complex, military industrial complex. Let's highlight now what Trump has accomplished. Armenia and Azerbaijan? Sorry about that. Sorry, little country. I know you're over there near Turkey. I know where you are thereabouts. Like, Syria's over here. I'm trying to think that you could be flip-flopping. Syria's over here. You're kind of over here with Armenia. I do know Armenia. I don't know Azerbaijan. Forgive me for the mispronunciation. They're two small nations. As far as I'm aware, they've been fighting for quite a while. Trump has now proposed peace and got both of them to the table to get a peace deal. India and Pakistan, this is a huge one because both of these are nuclear-powered nations. Both of them have significant militaries. I mean, India would actually stomp Pakistan, but when you have a nuke, how far can you beat somebody into a corner before they push the red button? Especially given both of these countries legitimately hate each other racially. Israel and Iran. This one that, again, I called out. Tucker, he blew his top. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Bannon, they were all losing it, saying that, oh, Trump's going to drag us into another war. Again, I called that, saying the worst that he would do is drop a few bombs. He would never put boots on the ground. Look what has happened. We'll get into that later regarding what Israel has now proclaimed. The Abraham Accords, there is now ongoing push to get more signatures on the Abraham Accords. This could be the first true peace in the Middle East that we have seen in 100 years or more, to where there is legitimate peace and prosperity for all of these nations, which would be fantastic. And remind me again, which president was it that lost Crimea and bombed its own citizens? Oh yeah, Obama. And yet he got the Nobel Peace Prize? Yeah. Right now, India, Pakistan, Armenia, and Azerbaijan are all pushing for President Trump to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. He's been nominated, I think, more than any other person in the world. But, of course, they're not going to probably give it to him because we all know it's a corrupt institution. If they have to bow down and give it to him, they would absolutely have a meltdown. I don't think their brain could handle it. But, legitimately, Trump has earned a Nobel Peace Prize. I want to highlight a few stories now, specifically showcasing these woke judges that are not judges anymore. They are not arbitrators of truth. They're not objective in any way. They are legitimately ruling from the bench, doing whatever the F they want to, because they don't care about the law. They don't care about objective truth. They just want to take their own internal morals, their own perspective, and force it down everybody else's throats. Damn the law. They're going to do it. Court sides with Trump admin, tosses left-wing judges contempt threat. This judge, Boasberg is insanely corrupt. He is the one that is trying to prevent illegals from being deported. Not just any illegals that are human traffickers, any illegals that are rapists, illegals that have murdered people. He doesn't think that we should be able to kick those people out of our country. Why? Because he says it's a hardship upon them. What about the victims? Again, it strikes me so very odd how the left can scream and just pull their hair out for these absolute abhorrent, degenerate POSs as we deport them back to where they belong, but yet have no love or care for the people who they've killed, that they've violently assaulted. They don't care about those people. They don't care about real citizens. It just, again, blue hair in the blue hair comments. I love you. Explain it to me, blue hair. Right down there in the comments. Come on, I'll invite you on. I'll destroy you. Obama appointed judge shuts down alligator Alcatraz. When they could not stop it from a legal perspective, they're now trying to stop it from an environmental perspective. It's a bunch of swampland with alligators. It's exactly the way it should be. If they want to run out of those tents and run out in the swamp and take their chances with the gators, have at it. They should put that on HBO. Judge orders foreign aid agency resurrected after African company sues. So not a company in the U.S., but a company outside, and specifically citing the hardship of having to lay off its workers. So we're no longer going to prop up your company because you're not doing anything that's benefiting the U.S., and you're whining about it, and you want to sue us to make us give you money? Again, blue hairs, make it make sense. Come on, SCOTUS. These judges are radical extremists, and frankly, there needs to be a process in getting them out. In theory, judges could be impeached. However, you don't really see that because judges are supposed to be nonpartisan. Do I need to even go down that road about how partisan judges are at this point? We need to throw that absolute veil off of our eyes and call it like it is. Judges are absolutely partisan, and they need to be held accountable. And I always like to leave you with a good little tidbit. Bobby Kennedy, Tennessee to join the states banning candy and sugary drinks from food stamps. Now, before all you EBT hard-ons get upset with me, let me explain something to you. That money that you're buying that jungle juice with, that you're buying that Kool-Aid with, that you're buying your Cheetos with, that you're buying your chips with at the gas station, that you're paying twice as much if you actually took your sorry butt down to the grocery store and actually bought it. Yeah, that money that you're wasting, that came from me. That came from my neighbor. Yeah. If you're going to shove your fat face full of a bunch of junk food, the least you could do is go down to the grocery store and buy you some chicken. Buy you some I don't know, buy you some lettuce. Buy you some oatmeal. Buy you something. Something good for you. That's the least you can do, especially for your kids. Don't we have an obesity epidemic? So hats off to these states. Sad that my state ain't in here because it's a purple POS. Arkansas. Because this is surprising. If Colorado, a blue state, can get behind this, there is no excuse for any other state. I mean, come on, guys. Colorado can at least see that, yes, if you are spending taxpayer money, you need to be buying on wholesome, high-quality food. You don't need to be paying for it, buying stuff at a bodega or buying it at a gas station. You need to be going to a grocery store and buying some legit good food for your family. Florida, Idaho, Indiana, that's good. Iowa, Louisiana, that's a little bit of a surprise. Nebraska, Ohio is now the newest one to join in. Oklahoma, Texas, Tennessee, good on you. You're a little late to the party, Tennessee, but I guess better than my state. Utah, a little surprising, but go Utah. West Virginia, and of course, Texas. Good on these states for making people start to be accountable for the stuff they're putting in their face, especially when they're spending money out of other people's pockets. And that is Mouthy signing off.